Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Clutch Trick Gaming. Today we are driving around in and going to be building the Volvo 850R wagon. Now, for some reason, after driving this wagon around a bit, I have a strange desire to do very safe things. And I'm somewhat nervous about cars I've seen flying up and down the road here, not seeming to care at all about the safety of those on the sides of the street. And before I get this build going, I'm thinking maybe my blue jeans and t-shirt aren't quite what I need to be wearing. So we're gonna swing in here and see if I can't find some trousers and a sweater vest. And maybe I shouldn't be building this Volvo, but just this once, just for fun, we'll do that. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so this Volvo 850R does come in race red, which is a little bit challenging for the typical wagon driver. However, I like it on this car. Um, the car is extremely boxy and square, which is what gives these Volvos their somewhat growing appeal that you see on the line. Everybody's starting to really like these things. Now, something that just occurred to me, I'm not from Australia. I've never been to Australia. I doubt I'll ever go. No offense. But I do have to question, why is there a payphone booth on the side of the street in a game that was developed in the year 2017? I have no idea. I don't even think we have these things in the States at all anymore. So I'm just curious, if do people really have payphones in Australia? Anyhow, looks like we've got some friends up there on top of the balcony trying to get our attention. Probably just wanting to get into one of our videos here. I'm not going to give them the time of day. We're heading out. Oh, better look before I pull out. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything unsafe in my Volvo here. So let's go for a little... Oh, that was dangerous driving. We'll go for a little cruise here in the 850R. That's right. Nice and safe. Don't break traction. No tires squealing. Whoop. Anybody coming? Nope. Whoa. We're gonna let him come first. Yep, back up. Get our nose out. Alrighty, kids. You ready? Seatbelts on? Let's boost launch it. Oh, we're full throttle here. This is getting scary. Oh, Daddy's gonna get some groceries fast today. Hey, but you know what? It's not fast enough. Let's get this thing over to... Let's get over to our, whatever it's called, to the garage. Let's start tweaking on this thing. So this 1997 Volvo 850R wagon, which I confess, in 97, I was a college student who was racing mountain bikes, and if I recall correctly, I think it was the Cannondale team, which had Missy Giovi, Tiker Juarez, and such. They actually promoted a Volvo just like this, or something to this effect back then. It's been a long time, I don't remember all the specifics, but it was a red Volvo wagon, and it was a pretty cool car. And I confess, during that time frame, I kind of wanted one of these. Looking at it here, for its time frame, it actually would have been a pretty good performer. 240 horsepower in a wagon. It's not too bad. 221 foot-pounds of torque. It's a little mediocre, but considering this is most likely not an American V8, then the 220 with the 240 horsepower is not uncommon. 3,230 pounds displacement. It's about a 2.3 liter based off what I'm seeing there. Front-wheel drive. We're going to take this thing over and do some real building with it and just see how far we can go with it in Forza. So if you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm not one to go for any specific type of build necessarily. I like to just max my cars out all the way if they're going to be hanging out in my garage. Every once in a while, I'll go and build a car specifically for a certain race, and it'll be a certain class and horsepower and such. But with this, we're just going to go all the way out. So it looks like our options are a 1.6 liter straight 4 turbo engine, or a 2.6 liter straight 6 twin turbo is what I believe that TT stands for. And looking at our power curve, it's kind of a toss-up here. I'm not sure which one I want to go with based off the power curve. We're just going to go with the one that's advertised as the most horsepower. Of course, whoa, what are our options here? So this can be configured as a front-wheel drive car as it comes stock, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. You know, I'm not sure what I really want to do on this thing. That's kind of a toss-up. Typically on the games, I just always go with all-wheel drive. But drift builds, of course, are going to have to be rear-wheel drive. What do we want to do with this thing? I'm not sure here. You know what? Let's go with the rear-wheel drive. Let's go with more of a drift type build. Now let's go and max this thing out for power and see what we come up with. So nice having millions of credits. It's kind of like I would imagine having millions of dollars. Get a car, take it to the garage and say, I want that, and I want one of those and that, and give me 2 of those. Yep, we're going to drop this on the ground. Get some nice sway bars in there. What's the cage look like in this thing? Think we should do the cage? Or think not? You know, weight doesn't matter with the drift car. I don't know, it just kind of doesn't look right in there. Let's go without it. Even though weight doesn't matter, dropping 572 pounds can't hurt. Now let's top out our driveline. Upgraded clutch, upgraded transmission, upgraded drive shaft, upgraded differential. Now to the fun stuff, set of wheels. Which tires do I want to go? You know, I kind of like running with like a sport compound when I'm drifting a lot of times. Don't want to do the race, certainly don't want to do the horizon. Let's just go with, say, a street compound. I like making them wide. Got to pick out a set of wheels for this car. What's going to look good on a drift Volvo? You know, being a Volvo, you can't go something too radical. Or just kind of separates itself. The wheels will jump out too much from the car if they're too radical. So you need a wheel that definitely says I'm aftermarket, but not too much aftermarket. You know, let's see what a deep dish wheel looks like on this thing. Totally going against what I just said. What's that look like? Looks kind of good. You know, let's go with that. Even though I did that on my last build, the Lancia Stratos. Let's bump these rims all the way up to a 19. That's not a bad looking little car. Get out of there. Now what can we do as far as air dams, chin spoilers? Whoa, no. Nope, that ain't happening. That is not happening. And that's like from Volvo. Maybe that's like something that they offered back in the day. Don't really like that either. The more I look at this, the more it's growing on me. I think the gaudiness and the big square look to it, it's actually kind of growing on me. I kind of feel weird that I like it. Which is better? Which is better? You know what? You only live once. Let's go with the big gaudy bumper. What about the... Oh, wow. So the back, there's like... So mild. They offer you the big, nasty, gaudy bumper on the front. And then the back, all they offer you is mild. Mild, safe, conservative. Gosh, which do I like here? It's got to have the wing. This car has to have the wing on it. We're going to go ahead and put the little lip on the back of the wing. Add a little detail to it. Let's bump out of here. We've already done this. So we're ready to go. Let's install this setup. So now for only 88,000 credits, we're going to drop about 200 pounds, a little more than 200 pounds off the car. We're going from 240 horsepower to 748 horsepower and picking up a tenth of a G on the skid pad. Not too shabby there for a big wagon. Now in my world, nothing is worth driving if it looks stock. And part of not being stock is not having an OEM paint job. What do we want to do with this? Give it a different OEM paint job? Oh, that's not too bad. You know, I'll probably come back and do a full livery on this, like a drift livery. So today, we're not going to go that far. We're just going to throw something on it just to say it's not stock and go for a spin. That's not going to work for me. Ooh, flat black. Flat black looks pretty good on here. Such decisions. We'll get into some camo and some crazy stuff when we do our full livery. As for now, I'm totally torn over this. Ooh, we can make a woody. I could do wood grain down the side of this. I don't think I've ever seen a Volvo with wood grain on it, but it's a wagon. It needs wood grain. What do? We do the black, we do the light. Let's do the light. Alright, we're going to go paint this thing black. And we're going to make it a black car with wood grain, I believe. Is that what we should do? Or maybe even more like green or something, just totally. Yeah, let's do like a green color. Like the Family Truckster. So if you're not familiar with the Family Truckster, it's a station wagon that was used in one of Chevy Chase's old movies. I think it was National Lampoon's Holiday Vacation or something like that. And they had this hideous car that was a conglomeration of pieces from other cars. And it looked like it was based off like a Grand Marquis, Mercury Grand Marquis or something to that effect. And the car was just absolutely hideous. It was as ugly as it could possibly be. And it had this kind of ugly green here. And I think it had wood grain on the side. They like doubled up on the what are they called? The headlights and such. Oh, I'm talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing here. So I need to run the size down on this. Basically just taking a huge decal and covering up the whole side here. And you're going to see, there we go, it starts to open up. Give us a nice wood grain. Holy cow, this is going to be hideous car. What are we going to do here? It's going to be the Family Drifter. Family Drifter instead of Truckster. Drifter. We'll have to word that somehow. We'll make it work. I have no tune on this at all. We're just straight out of the modification shop. Oh. So it started spinning and then just hooked big time. Okay, we'll go the other direction now. I'm starting to question myself, why did I paint this thing so stinking ugly? And I'm thinking we're going to have to do some tune work on it to actually get it to slide like we want it to. Because it's not wanting to slide quite right here. Yep, let's do some tuning on this before we go embarrass ourselves too much. So when I'm doing a drift car, I like drifting, but I don't just completely get into it. So I don't dive in and really try to nail it down. I just throw on a quick tune just to get the basics. Let's see what we want to do here. What am I looking at? Toe. I don't want to mess with toe. Sometimes I like to toe them out in the front just a little bit. Maybe we'll do just a teensy bit. Don't know that it really helps, but in past racing games, years gone by, it seemed to help on cars that would want to kick out on you a little too much. Camber, negative. Yeah, we can give it about a degree. Don't want to go too much. And we'll just leave the front like it is there. Anti-roll bars are going to take the back and just stiffen it way up. Actually, with this being a big heavy wagon, let's stiffen them both all the way up. Springs, we got to go all the way to the ground. I love a car that rides low. And spring rate, on the back, I want it really stiff. So there we go. Dampening rear, let's stiffen up that rear. Arrow doesn't really matter for what we're doing here. Definitely don't want to turn that up. Let's just run it down. Braking, don't care. Acceleration, I'm gonna crank that up. Now I'm not sure what everyone else does on drift tunes. I haven't really seen other people's tunes, but I'm turning my differential down on deceleration so that when I let off the throttle, it wants to straighten up, because that's usually what I'm wanting it to do. We'll see what happens here. I meant that. Traffic. You know, it still acts like second gear is all it wants to spin in. Oh, there we go. Now we got third gear going. But man, it's just hooks all of a sudden. Let's take this thing to the parking lot. You know, I think for as heavy as this car is, these tires I chose are just too grippy. Now look at this thing. It's what, 740 horsepower? Geared it way down. I'm in second gear. I clutch it, and it just bogs and goes. It doesn't want to slide. It's so heavy. So I'm going to go back to the shop now, put on the stock, just completely stock tires. We'll come back and see what happens. I'm really starting to ask myself why I painted this thing such an ugly way. I think because it just popped into my head when I was there. But I have to tell myself, look, billions and billions of people are going to watch this video, and they're going to think that I have absolutely no taste and no style whatsoever if I run around in the Family Truckster. So yes, I will be coming back and making another video later in the week strictly for, how do you say it? Protecting my honor? No. My reputation? Yes, I'll come back and protect my reputation by making this car not so ugly later in the week. Let's step down from the 245 tires also to something smaller. I want it to spin easy but controllable. Just go down a little bit. I've already got our rims as big as they'll go. Okay, so I just turned my final drive down to like 514 or something. I haven't touched the individual gears, but the car now wants to keep spinning in third gear for the most part. It's just hooked up right there. Still doesn't like to initiate very well at all. Pretty much only wants to start sliding if you've got a little bit of speed. Or braking. That was not a parking brake, that was just regular braking. This car is so bent on safety and grocery getting that it does not want me to drift it. How do you have a 740 horsepower car that you've reduced so much weight on and geared it so low and it just doesn't want to spin? There we go, we got it sliding. It's like the car just does not want to slide. There we got it going now. A little bit. It's fighting me. I think it's fighting me. Yep, it's fighting me. It just this thing doesn't want to slide at all. It's like, what are you doing? I'm a Volvo wagon. Fill me with bread and milk and let me serve your family with pride. Alright, this is making me look like a completely incompetent driver. But I think I'm enjoying the challenge, whether it makes me look like a horrible drifter or not. There's something to be said about the challenge in and of itself. Wow, this is so crazy. It's crazy how this thing just wants to hook. Let's maybe go in. Let's bump that camber some more. We gotta get this thing sliding some. Oh, tire pressure. You know what? I think I didn't save my last tune. So for some reason when I did my tune, it didn't save my tire pressure change. So I was still running like 30 psi of tire pressure instead of 50 in the back. I fixed that, and then the one thing that I actually went there to fix I didn't do, because I got sidetracked and all giddy and everything when I saw that my tire pressure was at 30. Let's go back in there and change change camber. Give it some more negative camber, see if we can't get it sliding. Where's it at? Alignment. Camber in the rear, go negative. Let's go all the way to 3 degrees. What's that look like? Can you see it? A little bit, not much. I've built some odd drift cars on this game. The transit van, my drift F100. I even kind of did some drifting with the little three-wheeled Robin or whatever the thing is called, where you could get it up on two wheels and then stab the gas and it starts spinning and comes back down. Nothing has been as difficult to get to drift as this car. I just can't get this thing to slide where I like it. Maybe we'll take it down the road to one of the actual drift zones. See how it does over there. So let's travel over here to one of our favorite drift zones. Oh, nearly made a full pass without getting off the road.
You have arrived at your destination.
Oh, I have. Didn't know I had a destination. When one drives in the Family Truckster, one does not merely have a destination. One is the destination. Thank you, traffic.
400 yards, bear right. Keep right.
Well, there you go. That was a completely mediocre drift build with the Volvo 850R. Gives you an opportunity to see what kind of power the car makes, what can be done with it. But I have to admit, the car is very heavy, it's very sticky. It does not like to drift. You can get it to drift a little bit. Once it starts to slide, it seems pretty controllable for the most part, but it's not nearly as fun as the other cars that we all know of that are great for drifting. This would be a car, I'd say, if you're just looking to have a drift build that's a little bit challenging. If you're good at drifting and you're good at building cars, then have at it. Be sure, if you make a great drift tune for this car, look at that camber, and be sure to share it so that others can enjoy drifting the car, because definitely it's going to take a little work. And right now, frankly, I just don't know that I'm into this car that much, especially with this paint job. Stay tuned. Later in the week, we are going to be doing a livery on this car that is kind of drift oriented. And hopefully if someone else comes up with a really great drift tune, I come up with a really great livery, then it will be possible to have a nice 850R that is fully suited for drifting. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and we will be sure to continue to do more videos in the days and weeks to come. More videos like this and more videos that frankly are not so mediocre.